Okay, video journal day 1. I don't know where to start. Okay, it's been 4 days since I wrote last, which isn't too bad in the scheme of things, let's be honest. My progress hasn't been the best over the past month, or over the past 2 months, to be fair. Like, I did really good in January. I wrote 5-6 days a week for at least an hour. I was getting through tons of tasks. I was feeling really motivated. And then February hit and the first couple of weeks were fine. And then school strikes happened, so the kids were home during my days off work, which didn't help. And then we were hit with sickness after sickness after sickness at the end of February, so I barely got any writing done. And then when all the sickness was over, I was feeling a little bit unmotivated to go back into writing, probably because I was still, getting over being sick. And then March hit and I thought, you know what, now that March is here, we're going to do a bit better. And we did, I think, but still not to where I was in January. And then April's just been a shit show, basically. Like, I've gotten some decent work done, but it's been 1-2 days a week, maybe a half an hour's worth of work at best, except for a very good couple of days where I was super motivated, or just wasn't even motivated. It was like, I need to finish my draft of Abingdon House 3, and I made myself finish it. So it wasn't like I was even really 100% bothered to do it, because the second I did it, I've not written since, because I've not had the motivation to write. And I don't know why I haven't had that motivation to write. And it's really frustrating to go from doing really well at the beginning of the year and sticking to the goals that I wanted to stick to, and then so quickly, like super quickly, falling off of that is like really, it's just really demotivated me. I don't like it. I thought I'd do better. I thought I could maintain my 1 hour a day for a lot longer than I did. And I'm super disappointed that I didn't maintain it for longer. And I can sit here all I want and be like, well, you don't want to get burnt out. You don't want to work too hard. You've got kids at home. You've got a full-time job. You've got all of this other stuff to worry about. But my head is then also going, but this is what you should be doing. This is what you want to spend your time doing when you're not at work and you're not sorting the kids out. So why aren't you doing it? Why are you just lazing around, not doing anything worthwhile? And it's like, oh, I don't know. This is the thing where I would give someone advice on this very subject. Don't worry about it. Everyone needs a break. Try your best. Tiny little steps is better than no steps at all. 10 words is better than nothing. To try and make them feel better, like, you are worth it. Like, don't equate your worthiness or your skill or your drive as a writer to the 2 weeks that you can't write. But I would not take that advice myself. I couldn't do it, because then I'd be like, yeah but it's advice I would give, but advice I can't seem to follow. My brain won't let me follow it, which is weird, seeing as how I think other people should follow it. I should follow it. I just don't follow it. It is not good. I'm doing this video journal basically to try and get into my head a little bit about how I'm feeling, and to try and get stuff out before I start writing, in the hopes that, yeah, sure, it will do some good, and it will help me, get at least a little bit of work done. I don't want to be at that part in the cycle anymore where I don't want to do any work. I have this cycle I go through. It's my writing cycle. So it starts off at the top, me super motivated. I will get all of my work done. I'll work on different projects. I will be completing scenes, chapters left and right. I like what I'm writing. It's easy for me. And then I'll go to, I'm really only motivated to work on one project, and I will be happily working on that project day in, day out. Still okay with what I'm writing, might be a little bit more difficult, but we're still getting the jobs done. I'm really not bothered to work on anything, but I can sit there and I can do it. You know, I'm really not in the mood to write, but I can still write. I don't want to do nothing. I would happily sit at my computer and just stare at my screen and do nothing. Except think about the fact that I should be writing and feel bad about the fact that I am not. And then it will go back around and I'll be not that motivated, but I can still sort of force myself to work on those projects. I'm super excited and motivated for just that one project. Back up to the top, which I like the best, where I'm super motivated all the time and I can work on any project I want and it's super easy and everything sounds fantastic. I'm at the bottom of this circle right now, and I feel like I have been for like the past 4 weeks or so. And I just want to shift from this bottom of the circle. I just want to shift back up to, I'm not super motivated, but I can still write. I will still make sure that I focused for at least an hour, getting some words, not tons, that's fine, some words, some progress. I just want to be there, and I'm not sure how to get there. And I don't know whether it's because I'm just not motivated to write. I don't know whether it's because I'm coming off of that. I've just finished a draft of a novel and I'm done. Sort of my brain's thinking I'm done. I've done with my work, which I'm not. I have more novels to work on. Or whether it's I am feeling unsure about the work that I'm doing, and if my work is good enough, if the plot is good, if the stories are good, if the characters are good, if the writing is good. Not that the writing needs to be that good, to be fair, because these are all just drafts. Like, it's not a final product or anything. My brain doesn't like that though, so it's not gonna make me feel better by going, it's just a first draft, don't worry about how it sounds. I could do that in the past. Just write. I could do 1,700 words in half an hour, and it would be full of typos, and the sentences would be awful, and the grammar would be incorrect, and nothing would quite make sense, or I'd repeat ideas or dialogue or descriptions, but it would be written, and I would have then something to work on and, you know, edit and revise. You know, I can't do that anymore. My brain just keeps getting stuck on, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound right. It's the perfectionism in me, which I think has come from me doing so much revision and trying to make things sound good. It's just affecting all of my writing, even the first drafts I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a really clean first draft when I don't really need to, but I just can't push my brain past. It doesn't matter that it doesn't sound absolutely fantastic, because you're gonna rewrite it anyway. I think my brain is just going, you're going to have to rewrite it, so you might as well make it the best as it is now, because then there's less work for you to do later on. It's just frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. And like, it's not like I even need to air this out to myself, to be fair. I sort of have these thoughts all the time. Maybe speaking it out loud is going to actually jog something and push past. I need to sit and figure out a way to sort of get motivated about a single project. Abingdon House is done. I need to try and find some betas for that, to be fair, because I wanted to start querying that this month, but I honestly don't know if it's in a good enough place to query. I don't want to go back to Beneath the Hawthorn Lies, because I lost like 6,000 words of that when my computer updated, and I have to go back and rewrite those 6,000 words I had just rewritten. And I have no motivation to do that whatsoever. I don't want to have to read through Project Body Swap, because even though I still enjoy the story, there's a lot that I need to shift and change. And just the thought of having to go back and forth between like the 2 betas that I've had on it and then the book, and then that's just too much work for my brain to handle, even though technically that's the easiest thing to do because it's just writing on a piece of paper. They Lead the Hunt, which is my witchy novel, that's the first draft, and that's the one I'm trying to get to sound as best as I can. And that's slowing me down, which is annoying me, so I don't want to work on it because it's going to annoy me. And then Bird Whistle House is just difficult, and I'm not sure about that at all. I'm still technically in the brainstorming process, but I'm not bothered to brainstorm because I can't think of an actual decent plot for it. No, I have a plot for it. I have a very vague plot for it. I can't think of anything in depth to make it a better in-depth plot. Is that all of my novels? I feel like I'm missing one. Osaseo It, in which I'm working on the first draft of that, because technically the first iteration of the book was a 0 draft. I'm calling it a 0 draft anyway. It's a very big 0 draft. I'm technically working on the first draft of that, and I think I'm at a point where I have to write new stuff, and that's slowing me down. And I think, no, there we go, that's the problem. I think I'm at a point in all of my novels where I know that I'm going to struggle to get words, and because I know I'm going to struggle to get words, I don't want to start writing because I don't want to experience the frustration of struggling to get the words. That's the issue that I'm having with all of my novels at the point that they are at. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to go into writing and not have it be easy like it used to be. I want to avoid the struggle, but I need the struggle. I need to struggle in order to get to the parts that are going to be easy. It happened with Abingdon House when I added my new scenes at the end of Act 2, beginning of Act 3. Like, I struggled through like those 3 or 4 chapters, because they were new, and it caused me to question everything about the novel. But once I'd pushed through those and just wrote them, the next few bits came easy. I just need to push through. I don't know what project I'm going to work on, but I need to struggle. I need to struggle to get through and actually get some work done. So those are my 2 next steps. 1, pick a novel. 2, be okay with struggling. Okay. Let's go struggle, I guess. This morning I am tired, which isn't, a new thing. I am consistently always tired, because I don't go to bed at a decent time, because I revenge procrastinate my bedtime because I have no time during the day to do anything that I want to do. So between work and kids, I'm like, let me just stay up late, even though I know I'm going to be tired in the morning, just so I can relax and do something that I want to do. And it's a terrible habit that I've gotten into, but also one that I don't see myself breaking anytime soon either, which I really should, to feel better physically, and then probably also feel a little bit better mentally as well. Maybe that should bring back some of my motivation, who knows. An experiment for another time, I guess. Tired, which means I don't want to write. And I always find it difficult to write during the days I have work. I do 9-hour days, and on days like this where I start at 11 and I finish at 8, after the kids have gone to school, it gives me an hour and a half in the morning before I have to go to work. And then it's like, do I really want to spend that hour and a half doing some work before I go and physically do work? But then by the time I get home and I have to have dinner, and I'm like, do I really want to do writing work after I've just spent 9 hours of physically doing work? And I really should make time in the morning and in the evening to do the writing work. It's not like writing for half an hour in the morning and then a half an hour at night is going to eat up too much of my so-called free time. But my brain sometimes has trouble going, let's get this done and then you can do whatever you'd like. It tends to be like, let's do whatever you like first. And by the time it goes, we could do some writing now, it's like 10 o'clock or 10:15, and I don't have much time to write at all. So, you know, it's how 8:05 is really 8:15, and you can't start, you know, until it hits the correct time. You can't start until 8:15. But then at 16 past, it's too late to start because it's not 8:15 anymore. So you have to wait for the next. You've got to wait till 8:30. My brain just does that. Which is also stupid because there's no difference between 8:15 and 16 past. But in my head, there sort of is. It's too late to start now, so I don't. Which is something else I need to get over. I'm still not motivated to write much of anything. I was just looking at a different project to work on that is not my witchy novel, because I'm still struggling with it, and I know I said yesterday I just needed to struggle, but struggling is tiring, and I don't want to struggle too much on the same project day in, day out, because that's going to make me dislike working on that project. So if I'm fully intent on still struggling, I need to struggle on a different project so it's not the same thing. And maybe going back to a project I've not worked on for a few weeks will make me not struggle on that project. I was just reading through Project Faye. I keep calling it Project Faye. It has a title, it's Beneath the Hawthorn Lights. And I just got to that part where I was like, oh right, there's like 4 chapters missing that I rewrote that I need to rewrite again. And that sort of made me go, oh, I don't want to have to do that. But, okay, but it's not like I can't just continue writing from where I was, which I think was like chapter 15. Oh, am I doing scenes? It's not like I can't just keep going from where I was going and get to the bits that I haven't rewritten before and then save all of those bits that I lost until right at the end. It's not like I can't do that. I think I just decided that before I moved forward, I needed to go back and rewrite those missing scenes, which is then where the issue started. It's not like I can't backtrack on what I said, though, to be fair. I think what I want to do is work on Beneath the Hawthorn Lies, but I think also what I want to do is reread some of what I have written in the hopes that that will sort of jog or unleash, I guess, or remind me about why I liked this project in the first place. Maybe not the bits leading up to where I'm missing, maybe the bits that come after it, because they're the newest bits I wrote. Maybe that will, you know, give me something. It's quite early still, so I'm determined to get a good half an hour in. I don't want to procrastinate before I start writing. I'm going to procrastinate before I start writing, but I'm going to try my best not to, and just immediately finish this journal entry and then just get to the writing, because I think as when it's done, and then I can do what I want. And then I would have done both the writing, which I need to do, and then I still get at least half an hour. Oh, it's only half an hour. Half an hour of free time to myself rather than barely getting any writing done. So I would have accomplished both. And that might make me feel, yeah, I accomplished both. And that might give me the drive to do it later on tonight. It's just difficult sometimes because I want to do the writing. In my head, I'm like, I really should do the writing. But then physically, I'm like, and I think it's like, what is it, two sides of my brain sitting on each of my shoulders, and the left side's like, you should write, and the right side's like, nah. It's just difficult to get the two of them to agree sometimes as to what to do. But I want to be a published author. That is my goal. I don't like saying dream because dreams to me are something intangible. Dreams are figment, they're not real. So my dream, it's not my dream to be a published author. It is my goal to be a published author because goals are tangible. Goals is something that you are working towards. It is my goal I went off on a tangent there. It is my goal to be a published author. And I need to get off my butt and I need to work harder to fulfill that goal, to reach that goal. And you know, whether or not my writing sucks or my stories aren't good enough or this, that and the other, none of that matters at this precise moment in time. The only thing that is holding me back is myself and is my motivation and my drive. It's not my skill as a writer that's holding me back. So I can't not write because I don't like what I'm writing. I need to write because that's the only way that I'm going to achieve what I need to achieve. And that's something that I need to start remembering and need to start pushing to the forefront of my brain. If you don't do the work, you're not going to get anywhere. It doesn't matter if you think your writing's the best in the world or if you think your writing sucks. You're never actually going to know unless you go out and do it. So I just need to go out and do it without procrastinating. Today is the first time in a long time that I get to actually be social with someone that is not the people I live with or the people I work with, which is very exciting. Seems like a bit overkill, but I think it will be nice to just sit, chat, say I'm gonna do some work, but actually not do some work, which tends to be how it goes. And this has been like a plan for the past couple of weeks, but it's got me thinking like how much I miss being social with people. And by people more specifically, I mean people in the writing community. But I have this very weird thing where I really want to be social. Like I want to be out and I want to be joining all the live streams or live streaming myself and, you know, connecting with the writing community, other writers, talking about our work, this, that and the other, you know how it goes. But also I feel like if I am social, I will be destroyed. Like I want to be social, but I don't want to be social. I don't want to have to sort of sit there and I guess force myself to be happy, smiley, chatty and all this. Like I feel like my ideal social is sitting in a room with other writers just writing but not talking. And the social aspect just comes from the fact that we are all together at that one time. And that is me being social. Because that's how that's how I feel most comfortable when I'm being social, I guess. And that comes from obviously being social with, you know, my really close friends. We will just sit there and do our own thing. Occasionally talk about something, unless we've not seen each other in quite a while, then it's usually mostly talk. But that's how I social. I social by being with someone and not doing anything. So that's my comfortable zone, and it's weird trying to push myself to be, I suppose, to be someone I feel like I'm not. I'm not an overly chatty person. I can be if I have to be. I don't like to be. But in regards to the writing community, being an overly chatty person and, you know, always talking, starting conversations, joining conversations, I feel that's the way to go if you really want to create your own community of writers, especially with social media. I feel like that is the only way to make real writer friends. And I suck at that. And I would rather not do that. Hence why I don't have that, you know, like nice little group of people who I will chat to constantly about life, about writing, and things like that. But also that is what I want to have in my life, because I feel it would only benefit me, firstly mentally, because, you know, I have people to talk to, and then also with writing because I have writers to talk to. And that's not to say that I don't have friends in the writing community. You know, there are a few people who we will check in on each other once in a while. We'll beta for each other when we need a hand. We'll, you know, brainstorm a little bit on projects we happen to be working with, or get advice about something. And, you know, that's fantastic. But I suppose it's more, oh, I don't know how to explain it. I want more, but I don't think I can physically work to get the more that I want. That's a really weird way of putting it. I think I just need to resign myself to the fact that I don't think I'm ever gonna make any like proper writer friends, you know, who will be critique partners for and will chat online, offline about writers' things. We'll organise, you know, live streams together or beta read for each other constantly. You know, I don't think I'm ever going to have that type of writer friend, which I'm not okay with, but I am sort of like resigning myself to the fact that I'm going to have to be okay with it, because mostly because mentally I don't think I can put in the work that I know is needed to start that type of friendship that in my head is the type of friendship that I would like. And I know it's because I'm not willing to. Like, see, there's the thing. Is it that I'm not willing to, or that I don't have the spoons to? That's something I'm going to have to figure out. Because I want to put in the work, but I'm not putting in the work. It's a difficult thing to do. Saying I'm not willing to makes me sound like I'm a really terrible person. Like, I want friends, but I'm not willing to put in the work to make the friends. They just need to put in the work to be friends with me, is how that sounds. But that's not how I mean it. That's terrible. Oh. Either way, yeah, it gets to me sometimes that I don't have that sort of support from other writers, and I don't have that type of continuous support in general for my writing. Like, it is very much like a solitude case for me. I don't really have anybody that I can consistently talk to about all of the problems that I'm having with all of my novels. But I work best alone. I don't work best alone. That's a weird way of putting it. My thoughts are all jumbled now. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I suppose speaking it out loud is sort of confirmation that I don't quite know what I'm talking about, or that there's too many different opinions and wants in regards to what it is that I'm looking for, which is annoying because I just want it to be nice and clear in my head about everything. I'm a very weird person in where, how do I put this? I'm a very weird person and I need constant reassurance that I'm doing okay in order to believe that I'm doing okay. I cannot just sit here and go, you're doing great, your stories are fantastic. I'm like, no, but no one else has said that my stories are good, which means that they can't be good until someone else says that they are. And I can't think of the correct term that I want in my head. It's like lethologica has affected me. I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't say it. I need other people to tell me that I'm doing good, basically, to keep up my motivation. And that's always been the case ever since I was a child. Because I never got attention when I was a child. So I thrived on those few moments where people would go, that's really good, Sarah. And I'd be like, oh, thanks. Like, I can't take a compliment to save my life. So I'd be like, okay, cool, thanks for letting me know that. Are you sure? But I need them. And it's a horrible place to be in as a writer. Especially when you need someone's confirmation that no, you are not doing a sucky job. So my brain is sort of just always going, this is a bit sucky. This is not as good as other people's. And that's getting easier to ignore and be like, whoa, I'm not going to judge my writing, say, compared to, so I'm beta reading for someone, it's their third draft and it's really, really, really good. And I'm like, this is so good. And the work that I'm doing, because they're alpha reading for me for one of my first drafts, I'm like, this is what I wish my novel could be. This is so good. Mine's so crap compared to theirs. And then I have to go, no, their third draft, 3. They've written this 3 times now. You're on 1. You've written it once. Barely, because you're currently writing it once. So of course their 3 is better than your 1. And that's nothing to do with our skill as a writer. They've had more time to work on it. So I'm very quickly thinking, oh, this sucks. And then going, but wait. But the problem is I'm still thinking, this sucks. But I learned to live with it as a writer, which is really, I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, learning to live with the negative thoughts, or at least learning to curb the negative thoughts and turning it into something positive. That is a good thing. Having the negative thoughts in the first place is not a good thing. And validation, there we go. Needing other people's validation that I am actually good at what I do, or that my stories are good, or my characters are good. It's not something I also want to have to need in order to truly believe it myself. But as long as I can counteract that feeling and still work towards what I'm doing, I suppose for now that is going to have to be the best that I can do, which sucks. Did I just forget what I was talking about? I don't know anymore. I absolutely don't know. But yes, let's focus on the social. We'll see if being the social can help my motivation to do writing. I have written a little bit over the past couple of days, still not in the evening after work, but progress, because I've started doing it in the morning a bit more. Hopefully we'll get some good work in today because I'm not at work. And we'll see if being the social today is going to kickstart or make me want to continue being social for the rest of the day, or whether it will drain my battery completely, because sometimes just the thought of being social will drain my social battery. But we'll give it a go and we'll see how it works. Today I am feeling very much not bothered at all to write, like at all. The past few days I've been like a little bit tired, but you know what, I'm still in the mood, I guess, to like open Scrivener and give some of my projects a quick peruse and see what I might feel like working on a little bit. But today I'm like, you know what, I'm not bothered at all whatsoever. And sometimes I just wake up like that. And I usually do try to do some sort of work at some point throughout the day. But I don't know whether I'm gonna feel the urge to do that today. At least that's how I'm feeling at the moment. I might feel like doing some work later on, you know, you never know. But this is just typical me at the moment. This is how I have been sort of daily. Just the thought of writing is like, ugh. Just the thought of having to go and read through my work and fearing that I'm not gonna like what I've written. Again, bearing in mind, Sarah, these are first drafts, or, you know, very early drafts, and of course they're not going to sound the best. But then that just reminds me of how much work I need to put into doing everything, and it's like, oh, sometimes it just makes me wonder why I decided to become a writer in the first place. Because I started writing before the internet, before social media became a thing. You know, I was like, oh, we'll do some writing, we'll write a book, like first draft, and then we'll get it sent off to publishers, and then that's how I knew the publishing journey to go. Again, because I was 15 and didn't have the internet. We barely had the internet. We did not have any social media whatsoever, and it wasn't until very, very late in my, wanting to be a published author that I've started to realise and learn that it's a lot more hard work than I initially anticipated. And by the time I figured out just how much hard work it was actually going to be, you know, I'd already had my first child, already having to work full time, and obviously everything sort of just escalated from there to the point where I'm sitting here now going, there is so much work I need to do. And I know that it's so much more difficult to get published now. And I don't want to, indie publish or self-publish or anything like that. Just to be honest, I don't quite know the difference between indie publishing and self-publishing, but we're not going to go there. Mostly because I don't have, and probably won't ever have, the finances to self-publish, or get my books out there without the assistance of, an actual publisher. And it's like, okay, so this is my goal, but is it still a goal that I should be pursuing? And yes, there's no age limit on being a published author, but I don't know, there's also this feeling that I'm past that time, And it's because I'm not putting the work in, and it's because I'm not making connections, and it's because I'm not being a part of the community, and it's because I, haven't done like existential amount of research, and because I don't think I'm putting enough work into the drafts of my books and, the plot and the character before I, attempt to query. I think sometimes I'm rushing it a little bit. I'm rushing it because I sort of have this feeling that, these are good stories, these are good ideas, and these are good characters. And that's how I feel in my head, without knowing how, anybody else feels about any of the stuff that I'm working on. But it's like I'm trying to rush through, and I'm putting up books or thinking about querying books that I am not 100% sure that they are 100% ready to be queried, because I feel like I'm behind where I want to be in my goal. I don't think I'm making much sense as I think this out. It's like I want to query Abingdon House now that I've finished the third draft, but I'm so unsure about the third draft, and I'm unsure that it is in a decent enough place to query it in the first place. But I'm still thinking, but I still want to query it, because I feel like I'm falling behind, because I feel that if I don't reach my goal in the next few years, I'm never going to reach my goal. And just editing is sort of just taking it out of me at the moment. It feels like such a chore having to edit my work. And that's because I'm doing a lot of the edits by myself in my own head without any outside guidance or opinions or anything like that. So I know that's making it difficult, because I might like certain parts of my story, and I can't see past, I think that's good, to the point where it might actually not be good, or it might actually not be needed or useful, or it might be too much. I like it too much to see if it could be bad, if you sort of know what I mean. And then having to go through something that I sort of already enjoy to try and change it when I don't know how I need to change it, or how to make it better when I think it's okay. That's the difficult thing. And then obviously adding new scenes in, like I did with Abingdon House, has then made me question, oh, this is not good. This doesn't make sense. Does this actually work within the confines of the book? It's the same with everything, really. It's that, am I actually good enough to be a published author? Am I good enough to be a writer? And it's not the first time I've thought whether or not I should be a writer or not. And it's not the first time where I've thought maybe I should just stop writing completely. Because at the moment, at least, I'm thinking I'm not going to get anywhere with it. This isn't just a hobby for me, and it's never just been a hobby for me. There's always been an end goal. And if I'm not going to reach the end goal, what is the point of trying? Is unfortunately my current headspace. And I think I just put myself in that headspace by talking about it. Damn, what did I do that for? Okay. I don't know how to backtrack out of that now. So today I had the absolute pleasure of working the morning shift as opposed to an afternoon late shift. So I've just gotten back from work. We'll see. I'm ill. We'll see how the evening plays out with everything about writing, etc., etc. I'm not in the mood, to be completely honest with you. I woke up not in the mood. I was at work and I was just not in the mood, and I'm home now and I am just not in the mood. And I don't know why. I was sort of feeling okay last night, and then this morning I'm just like, I'm a grump and I hate it. So we'll see how it works. I mean, I've been up on my feet for 9 hours or so, so I'm a little bit tired, but also I've been moving, so maybe that's gonna help get me interested in doing a little bit of work. We'll see how it goes. I was watching the second season of Sweet Tooth last night, which I was really excited for that show to come back, because I distinctly remember when I first started watching the show for the first season, just the way they had crafted the plot and the way they had introduced the characters and all of this. And I distinctly remember being so inspired by how well they had drawn me into the world and the problem and the characters. I was just like, that really, really inspired me to go and write, and you know, these are the types of characters that I wish I could write. These are the types of character introductions I wish I could do, you know, being able to, I don't know why I've still got my seatbelt on, being able to, you know, show a character in such little time. Like, you see them for a couple of paragraphs and you know who they are. But this season 2, and I don't know whether it's because I know who these characters are already, but I just didn't get that same inspiration going from when I was watching season 2, which I'm really sad about. And it got me thinking about how much, or how burned out I must be, or how stressed I must be to not feel inspiration from something I love so much. The reason I rewatch shows is because I like to, one, rewatch them because they're fun, and two, because they gave me that inspiring feeling, making my head explode with different ideas and plots and things I could do with my own work, different ways I could write my characters or write the scenes or explain things to make my work better. And when that doesn't happen, instead of me being inspired to make my work better, it just gives me this whole, my work's not as good as that. I suck at doing the characters, and I suck at doing the world building and everything like that, and it sort of just brings me down a little bit instead, which is not the best thing in the world. It's absolutely horrible to be in that space, to watch something you love so much, which should be inspiring, and for it to not inspire you. And I think that's the problem I'm having, is nothing seems to be motivating me or helping me look at my work in the way that I think I need to be looking at my work. I need to be looking at it with kind eyes, as opposed to the evil editor eyes that I am currently looking at them with. I need to be looking at my work with past eyes, and thinking about how far it has come, rather than looking at it with future eyes and thinking, this sucks, this is not what it needs to be. I'll figure it out eventually. I will figure it out. I'm gonna go home. I am home. I'm gonna go into my house, relax a little bit, and hopefully look at some of the work I have been doing and see if something sparks, and I will try and get some work in. And you know, I did well the past couple of days. I wrote not an entire hour, but I did 25 Pomodoros before I got too unbothered to do any more work. So while I didn't do maybe a lot of work, I did some work, which is good, even though I wasn't 100% feeling like doing the work. So maybe I am shifting ever so slightly back round my motivation circle to not bother to do some work, but I can sit there and do something if I focus on it, or if I, you know, pay attention enough, or if I distract myself enough with another show and sort of half work and half watch something else. It might work like that. We're not fully on the road to me being my happy motivated self, getting all the work done yet, but I guess all I can do is sit and try to do something, anything, and that is going to have to be my best. That is my best right now, and I just have to figure out a way to be happy with my current best, as opposed to not being happy that it is not the absolute best I know I can be, because it is the best I can be as I am now, and I've got to be okay with that.